SMG.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Owen. I'm here sitting with the amazing Lelie, and we're here to talk about what he got going on.
What's good, y'all? It's King Lelie from the Bronx, Soundview area. I'm here talking with my main man, Owen Duckett, the editor-in-chief of the RSL magazine out in LA. We here kicking it and we talking about our future endeavors. Stay tuned.
You can check me at It's Owen Duckett, and check out my magazine too, at the RSL Mag. So, growing up with a father in the music industry, how did his career inspire you as a child, and how does that influence still shape your work today?
Well, growing up in the Bronx, my pops, Lelie, he's the first entrepreneur and CEO that I seen as a kid. He had his own rap group. He's a super producer, one of my top 5 producers. The name of his group was Strong Arm Production, and he had like a Wu-Tang times 10. He had about 20 to 40 rappers from like 1989 to about 2010, 2011 under him. He's also a master chef. We have a restaurant called Seafood Kings. We're the first black-owned seafood and soul food restaurant owners in City Island. So that hustler mentality and seeing that in the Bronx and, going to school, when we went to high school and stuff, we always wanted to do things better. And that kind of inspired me because I got that from him. You know what I'm saying? It's all well and good to work for somebody, but you always want your own. And the music aspect of it, we always had a studio in our crib. We always had a studio. Some churches that we was at, you know what I'm saying? So it kind of shaped me. So definitely, my pops is the number one blueprint, I would say.
So, what was the moment you knew you wanted to turn your love for music into like a career?
It started with church, to be real with you. I started playing the organ and drums at 9 years old, the Baptist church in the Bronx, Mount Lebanon Baptist Church. And my home pastor, James Morrison, shout out to him. He's actually my first music teacher that I had. And so me and him would always rehearse. He would show me a couple of chords. Then I met a guy named Jeffrey Sherrills, who I call my uncle today. Shout out to him as well. He came along when I was about 14 or 15. He took me to like different events, studio sessions, quartet stuff. So that's kind of like stuff I did outside of hip hop with my pops, you know what I'm saying? So now I'm playing live instruments, I'm meeting singers, I'm meeting different type of producers. So it's just like, oh man, I really want to do this because I enjoy doing it. You get into the studio at 9, 10 in the morning, and then next thing you know, it's 10, 11 at night, and you're like, man, it don't feel like a work day, you know what I'm saying? Because you're enjoying it so much.
It doesn't feel like work at all.
Definitely, I'm gonna say my freshman year in high school, when I started like going around and playing a little bit more. That's when I started writing rhymes a little bit more and producing, you know what I'm saying? And that's what it is.
All right. So you are from the Bronx.
Right, Soundview.
Specifically the Soundview section.
That's right.
The Bronx is known as the Mecca of hip hop.
Right.
So how has that influenced your music?
Man, I would say the Bronx as a whole influenced it because we have so many great rappers to come from here. KRS-One, of course, for the old school hip hop. Me growing up, definitely Big Pun, Fat Joe. Nowadays, in my generation, A Boogie, Cardi B, the new sensation, shout out to Ice Spice, the surroundings. And I just think hip hop to me, growing up in the Bronx, you have all these different elements now, not just black, you got the Latino element of it, you know what I'm saying? And you put all of that stuff together and put all of that magic, that history and that flavor together, you can't miss, you know what I'm saying? The dressing, Biggie, Jay-Z, you know what I'm saying? Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, Diddy, whatever you want to call him, he's one of my favorite executive producers I looked up to growing up, especially in the 90s as a kid, because you will always hear a Bad Boy record, you know what I'm saying? And my thing, even now with SMG, I'm like, listen, if you want to drop hits, you got to drop hits. You get what I'm saying? Whether you're from the West Coast, whether you're from Texas, whether you're from Canada, that New York style, swag, the fashion, all of that, it can't be matched, man. 50 Cent, you know what I'm saying? New York, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to him. So it's a lot, man. It's a lot. And I just think that moving forward with SMG and what I'm doing in my own right, I always going to take the 104.73 with me. You know what I'm saying? If you ever see me hold up that 3, that's the 104.73. That's why I represent Soundview. And it's been good to me. I have no complaints about it. And I just enjoy repping where I'm from.
So earlier you mentioned you had influences like older as in Fat Joe and as current as things like Ice Spice.
Right.
How do those people and their sounds help you create your sound?
So I'm gonna be real. My sound is very 90s. 35 years old, but my sound is very like 90s R&B, 90s hip hop. So I try to take the elements of that and incorporate what's going on and what's hot right now. You know what I'm saying? I always try to be original in everything that I do. I always try to be original with my producing, especially if I'm doing for these younger artists that really don't know about the times or those elements that we might know of. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely am big on doing that, and also just taking what this generation has to offer. You know, they try to write us off or they try to write them off, especially the ones behind us, but everybody is artistic in their own way. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta blend it together. Music is music. Whatever your culture is, whatever your background is, it's still music. It's still something that somebody's presenting to the world. So you always gotta put it together, you know, and just make it happen.
Okay, I like that. So you say you play instruments, you are an artist yourself,
Right.
and you also songwrite.
Correct.
So take us through the process of a typical day in the studio of someone who does so many things.
So first, when I get there to the studio, I always think about, okay, what do I want to work on today? I usually am well prepared when I get to the studio, and especially if I'm like producing or writing for another artist. Let's say I have this artist that I work very close with, Jay Chosen, and Celeste. We call her Blammo. These are two artists that I'm very, very close with on a personal level, but also we make the best magic in the studio. They're mostly like R&B. So when I create and sit down and say, you know, what we gonna do today for Jay Chosen, or what we gonna do today for Celeste, I kind of like listen to what's hot on the radio, number one, and then number two, I'll review our notes that we may have texted about or emailed about, like, listen, this was an idea I might have heard, you know, see if you could cook something up with this for me. And I'm like, okay. And then, you know, I take it from there. I always start off with prayer. I tell people, especially, you have to start off with prayer with anything that you do, because that's where it all comes from. If you have a guide, you know what I'm saying, if God can lead you to do what you have to do, especially these gifts that we have, you have to first and foremost thank him for it and ask him to be original and to make some heat.
I like that.
Yeah.
So besides all that, you've also successfully became your own boss by making SMG Publishing.
Yes.
What's some of the hardships that you have starting that?
Paying taxes. They don't care if you didn't make a dime. Uncle Sam want that money. But outside of that, I'm gonna be real, it's really not no hardship, because I don't look at this as a job. You know what I'm saying? This is something that I was blessed to do, blessed to have. Even down with SMG Films, my movie company, we just started. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to incorporate that along with my GVO clothing line. It's all in the SMG Lelie umbrella. So it's just like I'm taking my time, learning the ropes, and enjoying it, believe it or not. You know, a lot of people ask me, oh, what's the bad thing you would say about being an entrepreneur, you know, being over SMG? I can't say I really have one. Every artist that I work with, every producer, my family, TK, Todd Thomas, you know what I'm saying, Uncle Lauren, everybody that I work with, my boy Ray, Ced Marsh, I work with so many talented people. So it's fun, you know what I'm saying? Even if it's hectic, even if we're working on a deadline or something like that, it's just still fun and it all comes together.
So with all of that, what's a piece of advice you would give to an aspiring musician when they're trying to build a sustainable career?
Make sure you're in this for the love and not the money, because if you're in it for the money, you're gonna be out the first 90 days to 6 months. Seriously, because this game can make you or can break you, but you have to be consistent in it. You have to be faithful in it, and you got to be able to take the blows and the highs and lows with it as well. Pause. I'm from New York, so you got to say pause with that.
We'll take that.
So definitely those three things, you know. But the most important, like I said, make sure you're doing it for the love. Because once you do it for the love, the doors will open, and again, it won't seem like work. So you're not stressing out like, oh, I just spent $2,500 on this song and another $7,000 to market it, but guess what? It didn't move. Oh, I just spent $15,000-$20,000 on this movie and it didn't move. You're not in it for that. You are in it to be a creative person, and you never know who's watching. You never know who's going to see it 6 months or 6 years from now. Whenever God is ready to open that door and take you to the next level, that's just when your timing is. So that's what the advice I would definitely give you.
So with all this that you have going on, how do you balance it? You're a musician, you're a producer, you're an entertainer, you're a businessman. How do you keep yourself on track with all of these things?
Well, I'm gonna be real. At first, I wasn't good at balancing it. I was overworking myself, and I had a minor heart attack October 15, 2023. So that kind of like woke me up and say, listen, you're working too much, you're doing too much, you need to slow down, you need to take time to balance out your life, your personal life. And, you know, I just enjoy the house more. I enjoy my kids now. I enjoy my family, my close circle. I enjoy all my friends. And I take one project at a time now. Instead of trying to be Superman and do 3, 4, 5, 6 projects, it's just 1 or 2 at a time. You know, that's something me and you always talked about too. You know what I'm saying?
It's
You
about
gotta
balance.
have balance, you know what I'm saying? And I'm really believing and seeing that I'm getting more done when I'm just focusing on 1 and 2 instead of trying to do 10 things.
Mm-hmm. Stretch yourself thin.
Yes, exactly.
So what have you been working on recently, and how does this stand out from your previous work?
So what I'm working on now, really it's a compilation album called The More. It's with all the artists that I work with, producers. We are making an R&B love album because R&B is making a major comeback. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm an R&B producer and gospel producer first and foremost. Those are my 2 favorite genres to do. I'm working on that. I'm working on a mixtape with my boy Vaughn. There he go. That's coming out in April or May. It's a collab mixtape. It's called True Players for Real. So that's going to be about 8 singles, 2 apiece from me and him, and then it's 4 songs combined.
Okay.
So we're going to drop that. I'm working on the King Lelie for the Baddies album. That's going to be for the summertime. Film-wise, right now I'm working on something called If We're Locked In. It's a short film series. It's starring me and a couple of actors and actresses and I'm cool with. We're doing that. We're going to start the Frank James pilot, which is a story about my uncle, Uncle Reuben Green. Shout out to him. He was a big-time hustler in the 1970s. And we're shooting a pilot to try to pitch to like different networks. You know, 50 Cent just opened up a new studio, so we're praying that we could get it to him. And then in the summertime, I'm working on 90s Love. That's a rom-com that I'm having with a different bunch of comedians. Shout out to my Uncle Talent, who's a famous comedian from the 90s. It's me and him. We're putting some stuff together. That storyline is about me in modern day going back into the past and living each day in a different year, the 90s, while following a girl I met in present day. But each year she doesn't remember who I am. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just going through those situations. And that's it. Just helping my father in the family business, Seafood Kings, the City Island in the Bronx, getting that back to where we want it to be. And that's it, man. Getting my clothing line as well back sometime next year. But again, it's all about balance.
Yeah, when the time is right.
When the time is right.
So, what impact do you hope to leave on the music industry, and how does that work for the future generation?
So the impact I'm trying to make is just real simple. I'm just trying to make sure I'm in the same category as the Quincy Joneses, the Clyde Davis, the Dr. Dre's, the Bruno Mars. You know what I'm saying? I'm so versatile with how I create music, and again, I come from a good village of people. My man DJ Bass the Don, he's here with me on the side. He can tell you, he's another phenomenal DJ. We all coming up together. He's also a church musician. So what we're trying to do right now is just take all them elements that we learn and the avenues and the connections that we have now and just come out, you know what I'm saying? For the future generation, just continue to open up future doors. You know what I'm saying? The music game and the film game is changing right now. It's so much access, but these younger generations, they're not taking advantage of it, or they're not smart enough to take advantage of it. So pretty soon in the next 5 to 10 years, I want to make sure I have like a SMG music school or film school. That's something I definitely want to do. We're giving out scholarships. We're making single household parents and families who have kids that want to learn. They could come to my school and learn for the behind the scenes stuff, do stuff like Mr. George is doing, my man Justin is doing. That's the biggest impact that I want to do, even down to the cooking. My brother, Chef Dow, he's a phenomenal singer. We're working with him, but he's also a master chef. He wants to do like a cooking school soon as well.
Okay.
You know, we want to do that. So, again, it's a lot of things that we got in the pot, but it's just one thing at a time. You know what I'm saying? One thing at a time. I have a gospel group called Renewed in Christ. My man, Minister Ernest Brown, he's the lead singer. Redeem, Elder Tim Wells. My man, Cliff Cogdell, he's my partner. So I'm not doing it alone. It's a lot to do. So the next 5 years, when they hear that SMG ring and before every song like they do now, I just wanted to be like, yo, that's King Lelie. You know what I'm saying? They doing what they doing, and they doing their numbers. And again, representing New York and the family.
I love that. Thorell, thank you for this interview. Thank you for allowing us
Thank
to
you.
see what you had going on.
Thank you.
You got a bunch of support on your back. We're all proud of everything you got going on. Tell them where they can find you.
Listen, KING_LELIE on IG. All right, King Lelie. Seafood Kings as well is on there. Kings with a Z. Shout out to my man Owen Duckett, best friend known us since high school. The RSL magazine, one of the biggest magazines in the world, straight from LA. Y'all make sure y'all get that. I'm gonna be featured soon. All right, we making it.
My boy. Thank you.
Right, thank you.